Do you have any experience with Camp EDC or opinions on it? Any advice for someone who is going completely alone? What is the best way to save money on the trip? If I'm already camping, would upgrading GA to VIP inside the festival be worth it? So today I'm sitting down to film my first EDC Las Vegas 2021 Q&A video. If any of you guys are attending the event next year or this is your first time, today's video will be jam-packed with information. So sit back, grab a snack. It's gonna be a longer video. I have a lot to get through, but I have a full EDC Las Vegas playlist that will be linked down below with over 62 videos to help you prepare for the festival. Without further ado, let's just jump right into this. Okay, so I broke this into categories to make this easier, so I will put timestamps down below, but I'm gonna start with general advice. What are some must-knows before going to this event? So in general, if this is gonna be your first time, what I will say about EDC Las Vegas, which I'm already smiling, it's my favorite festival in the entire world. I've been 5 times. It's gonna change your life. It is so magical. So some must-knows before the event, I would say it's a marathon. It is not a sprint. It is a very long festival that goes from like 5 p.m.-ish to 5:30 in the morning. Wear comfortable shoes, have an open mind and bring a positive attitude, be open to discovering new music, really figure out what your transportation plan to and from the festival is going to be beforehand. Don't pregame too hard in the beginning of the night because again, it's a long night that you've got to get through. And just be prepared in general, which you're already off to a great start because we're going to be addressing a lot of questions today. Okay, I got a bunch of people asking how early do you recommend getting to the festival every day? Getting to and from the event there's no easy option. It's always a pain in the ass. I'm going to talk about it later in the transportation section, but err on the side of caution. Leave as early as you can. I like to say make the most of the event. Get there when it opens and leave when it ends, or leave a little bit on the earlier side. I've always left for the festival between like 5:30 and 6:30. I don't think I've ever left past 7 p.m. I like to be there when the doors open, and it depends on what the hours are going to be. In the past, it opened at 7, and then I think last year and the year before, they had opening ceremonies and opened as early as like 4 or 5 p.m. So it depends. I typically like to get there between like 6 and 7 p.m. Must-haves to bring: a hydration pack. I recommend Lunchbox Anti-Theft Hydration Pack. I work with them. I love them to death. They are the perfect hydration pack to bring to a large-scale event. Comfortable shoes. You're gonna be walking a whole lot, and it can be really hot in Las Vegas. Keep that in mind. Wet wipes. The bathrooms, you know, you just never know what the situation's gonna be, so I always like to bring wet wipes with me. I'll bring like a fan, candy to trade with people, gum, chapstick, sunglasses, maybe a pashmina because the weather last year was a little weird. It got a little cold, but other than that, just the general things you would bring to a rave. Okay, I got a lot of questions about how do you prepare for the long hours, like the dancing, the standing, the walking, and how do you adjust to the sleep schedule. So honestly, I feel like it's with every festival, you kind of just have to push through it. I drink a lot of Red Bulls. Get as much sleep as you can before going to EDC Las Vegas. Go to bed early the whole week before, take your vitamins, take your vitamin C to make sure you're feeling good. Sleep after the event. I know, especially if you're doing Camp EDC, there are so many after parties and things like that, but I'm telling you, get some sleep in between the nights because you're gonna be completely exhausted at the festival if you don't. And as far as dancing and standing a lot, take breaks. 1000% take breaks. Sit down to eat, sit in the bleachers, sit in the grass at Cosmic Meadow. Like, definitely do not stand the entire time. That's really gonna hurt your back and your knees. So I, 10 out of 10, recommend taking breaks. Go on a ride, do something like that where you give your knees and your feet a break. And someone said, how hard is it trying to stay at the festival until 5 a.m. every night? Honestly, the night goes by so quickly because there's a million things to do and it's like sensory overload. So it really isn't that hard. And again, I know a lot of people want to avoid caffeine, but like coffee, Red Bull, whatever, you know, you find a way to make it till 5 a.m. Somebody asked an interesting question. What parts of EDC have been getting consecutively better or worse every year? That's a great question. These stage designs have been getting better every single year. I would say the art installations, the overall production is just like getting better and better every single year. The only thing I think that got worse last year was the amount of people. It felt extremely packed. That's the only thing I could describe as worse. I loved this question. How might an EDC veteran's planning change as the festival continues to grow? So for me at this point, it's about getting the most out of the experience. So I've done GA 4 years. Last year I did VIP, so it was nice to switch up my ticket and try something new. exploring the different stages. If you spend a lot of time at one stage, then the next year go to some other ones. Getting on the rides, going on an art car, interacting with the new installations and exhibits and things that they have. Like, it's all about exploring the whole festival and checking out the little vendors, like kind of getting out of your usual routine, I would say, as a veteran is what I strive for every year. So any advice for someone who is going completely alone? Yes, I've got you. Just know, first and foremost, you're never really alone. Once you get to the festival or you're on your way to the festival, you're already probably going to be meeting people and interacting with people. So one recommendation is staying either in Camp EDC or staying in a hotel where a shuttle line is, because you know other ravers are going to be staying there, and so you can potentially meet some people. Which brings me to point number 2, 1000% take the shuttles. It's such a good way to meet people. I have friends who did this in the past, who went solo, who met friends on the shuttle, and that's who they ended up hanging out with for the weekend. Number 3, I would say attend EDC week events. So if you're staying on the strip, go to the pool parties associated, the nightclubs. We met people at the pool at like Dre's and things like that who were also attending EDC, so that's always a good option. And lastly, I would say attend meetups. So like I host meetups. I know the EDM Twitter hosts a meetup. There's like a Reddit group that does a meetup at EDC. Fans of different artists like Anjuna Fam will do one. So definitely go to meetups and meet people who have similar interests to you. That will be huge. So this question is, with the uncertainty of everything, when do you think is a good time to book flights and housing? My group for the event that was usually in June or May, we would book our hotel in like September, October. So I think housing, it's okay. I feel like a lot of people are doing refunds as well. Maybe wait to do your flights until January, February of next year. I would just track it on Hopper and see how prices are, but right now nothing's crazy. So I would wait personally on the flights maybe until 2021. Okay, what is the best way to save money on the trip, transit, hotel versus camping? Great question. So you guys have already purchased your tickets most likely. If you haven't yet, I 10 out of 10 recommend doing the payment plan. It's the easiest way to break that into smaller payments and make it more affordable. I'm a big fan of booking.com. So for a lot of festivals, I will book a hotel through booking.com, and typically all you have to do up front is put down a small deposit and then you pay the rest of it in full the week of the event. So I like that because then I have peace of mind that my hotel is booked, but I didn't have to front all the money. In other scenarios, when we've booked in September or October, we've looked for hotels who are having deals and things like that, then my group will split it. So staying with a group obviously is beneficial because you can split transportation costs and you can split things like a table or something like that if you go to a nightclub. Transportation, the shuttles are a one-time payment, which is always a good deal because you're not dealing with surge pricing and things like that. But again, Uber Pool is a good option if you're staying solo to just make it a little bit easier for yourself. And as far as saving money on other things, like you can definitely do cheaper options for food and maybe eat out at a nice restaurant like once or twice. And a lot of nightclubs, you can get on a guest list so you're not paying any entry fees. And I have videos on that, which will be in the EDC Las Vegas playlist. Okay, how do you plan which sets you want to see specifically and how much free time is there to explore? So again, I would go to the festival early so that in the beginning you can walk around, do your lap, maybe eat, maybe hang out, like have more of a leisurely experience and sort of like check out all the areas of the festival. And then I always use the app just to schedule like what artists I want to see and things like that. But you really see where the night takes you. The biggest thing is you don't have this strict schedule for yourself. Like it's good to have an idea of who's playing when, but once you're there, things go out the window and you kind of have to be flexible with your time because you never know, you might change your mind about things. Is there a special place to find the art car sets? Yes. So the art cars are basically like these small structures, like smaller stages that are mobile, but a couple of them do stay in one spot and they will be marked on the map. For someone who wants to also explore Vegas, do you think it's more practical to stay at a hotel or Airbnb on the strip and Uber to the festival, or stay near the festival and Uber to the strip? I'm a big fan of staying in Vegas. I love Vegas so much. I've always stayed on the strip, so I would suggest that because then you can just walk out your door whenever you want and gamble, go see the different casinos, shop, eat, do the nightclubs. It's way more convenient, and like you'll always find a way to get to the festival, whether through shuttles or Uber. So I would recommend that if you're really into exploring Vegas. If you're new here, let me just preface this by saying for the past 5 years, I've done shuttles 3 times and I've done Ubers twice. I've never driven and parked, but I have heard reviews of that as well. I've also never taken the helicopter in, but one day, maybe I'll make that happen. For the record, there are pros and cons to every single transportation option. There really is no easy way to get to EDC. There's always traffic. There's always people complaining about one or the other. Camp EDC honestly is your best way to go because you can walk in and out of the festival. And I also have to mention Friday night is always the worst because some of the highways that you take, people are getting out of work, so there's rush hour and things like that. And I feel like they're always getting their shit together on Friday and then it gets better on Saturday and Sunday. But people are asking, shuttles, are they bad? Are shuttle passes worth it? Is it better to rent a car and park? If it's your first time, I recommend shuttles. It's just a really easy way to go about it, honestly, because you can pick the shuttle stop from around the strip that's closest to where you're staying. You pay one price for them, you can meet people there, and in some of the times in the past, they would do a security check before you got onto the shuttle, so then you didn't have to do a security check when you got to the festival, so that was always nice. And then you're not driving, you're not worrying about surge pricing, you can just get on the shuttle at the end of the festival, pass out until you get back to the strip. So I do recommend those. In regards to Ubers, we ended up switching to that the last 2 years. I was with a group of 3 in 2018 and a group of 4 in 2019, and the pricing really wasn't that bad. Sometimes there was the surge pricing leaving the festival, but with the Ubers, we could leave whenever we wanted. We didn't have to wait on a line. There wasn't any security check. We could sit in an air-conditioned car and plug the aux cord in, but we still dealt with traffic, and the amount of money you're gonna pay kind of just depends on the time that you're leaving. I will say Friday night, last year going home in Uber was a complete and utter mess. And people were asking about the Premier parking pass. I've heard nothing but good things. So if you are gonna park, I do think it's worth it. You'll be in a closer parking lot to get to the festival. So if you are driving in or you have a car already, definitely look into the Premier parking pass. People asked, are there advantages of where you get your shuttle from? So it just completely depends. We've picked hotels in the past that have a shuttle line in them so that it was just easy and we didn't have to walk back and forth. Walking down the Vegas Strip in your EDC outfit is always a fun time, let me just tell you. But obviously if you're staying at the top of the strip, so near like the Stratosphere or the Wynn or the Encore, that section of the strip is closer to the festival because you have to drive basically through the whole freaking strip and go out to the event. So if you're further up, those are technically closer to the event. I got some questions about GA versus GA plus. Let me just say this for the record, I did GA for 4 years. I think it is definitely the way to go. This is an expensive festival. GA will give you everything you're looking for and more, unless you want to spend a little bit more money and you want to go for VIP. I'm not a fan of GA plus in general. I just feel like for every festival, it's kind of a cash grab because all you're really getting is separate entry, which is tied into the VIP entry, and you get separate bathrooms from GA, which are the VIP bathrooms, but you're not getting all the perks of VIP, like all the areas they get to hang out in, the different platforms they can view the stages on. Do you want to spend like $100 something more just for like slightly nicer bathrooms and a separate entrance? I don't think so. One thing to note about the VIP entrance to the festival that we thought was interesting, so when you first walk up, they split you up into GA plus and VIP or GA entry, and that's where we got like our ID checked and stuff, so it was very fast. We usually walked right in, and other people on GA had a little bit of a longer line. However, the next portion where they check your bag, we merged right back into the GA bag check. So it didn't make any sense. It wasn't a separate bag check. So I don't really know about GA plus. I don't think it's worth it personally. Somebody asked, were the GA plus VIP bathrooms ever crowded? Is it worth upgrading? There were some times in VIP that I waited on a little bit of a line, but nothing like super crazy. I feel like they do have a lot of bathrooms at EDC. Somebody said, if I'm already camping, would upgrading GA to VIP inside the festival be worth it? Okay, I think it's totally personal preference. To me, since you already have camping, you already have the perks of basically being able to go in and out of the festival pretty easily, and you have pre-parties and the pool and after parties, so you kind of have a lot of experience already. For how much it costs, I think you should just keep your GA ticket, because honestly, with VIP, I love the experience, but there's so much going on at EDC, like we barely got to even take advantage of half of the stuff that was offered in VIP. So if you have camping, I don't think you need it. Somebody said, what do I love about VIP? So I have an entire video about the VIP experience that I will put a card up in here. What I really liked about it, since we were coming from the strip, in some of the VIP areas, you obviously had your own bathrooms, which were trailer bathrooms, which were nice. So it was running water and a flushable bathroom. They also had different things you can interact with. So at Kinetic Field, they had different like photo booth areas. They had their own Ferris wheel. They had cornhole and different games and vendors inside of the VIP. And I did like they had their own water refill in the Kinetic Field area, which was very helpful because then you didn't have any line to go up and fill your hydration pack. They also have viewing platforms or sectioned off areas to bring you closer to the stage, which was very big, especially for the insanely packed sets of Millennium and Skrillex at Circuit Grounds. And again, that really helped with going to the bathroom, because if you were in GA and you needed to leave that crowd to go to the bathroom, good luck to you. I've been there. But when we were in VIP, I was able to actually leave my group alone and go to the VIP bathrooms and come back, because it just was a smaller area, so I could find them more easily. So that was a huge plus as well. And if you are on the wait list, what are the chances of getting a ticket? Honestly, probably high. I knew people who were on the wait list before this resale and they got through and weren't expecting to get through. So you guys just never know, especially as it gets closer to the festival, people's plans change, things happen, they're gonna have to sell their tickets. So I would just get on it because you really never know. Again, definitely check out booking.com. There's sort of like different tiers of hotels. There's hotels that are more kind of like motel vibes and you could probably fit bigger groups in them. There's things like a Best Western and stuff like that. There's things that's like a block or two off the strip that are definitely way more affordable. And then you have hotels on the strip like the Luxor, which we stayed in I think 3 years, which is definitely affordable. There's Harrah's, the Flamingo, Planet Hollywood is kind of in that range. Then you go up another level and I've stayed in like the Mirage, you have the Paris Hotel, the MGM. We stayed in the Park MGM last year. Really recommend that. They just upgraded that hotel and they built Italy inside of it, which is a really cool Italian marketplace. So the Park MGM was pretty nice and that was in like the mid-range. It wasn't too bad. And then you go higher. So if you want really nice, you can go to like the Cosmopolitan or Caesars or the Bellagio, and if you want to go bougie, you can go to like the Encore or Wynn or something like fancy like that. The Venetian is a beautiful hotel. It's like one of my favorites. So it kind of is in tiers. It's really what you want out of the experience, but check booking.com for deals. I'm going in a group of 10. I don't know if it would be better to stay on the strip or in an Airbnb. So I haven't had Airbnb experience, but I know a lot of people who have done that and have stayed closer to the festival. It's convenient. You can get a house. You can figure out some sort of situation that would be more accommodating to a large group. I've also stayed at the Marriott. I think it was called the Grand Chateau. It was about a block behind the Planet Hollywood, and we had a group of 4, and the Marriott had more like 2 to 3 bedroom villas. So you could also check that out. It just wasn't the cheapest option. What are my favorite Vegas nightclubs? My absolute favorite is Dre's. It is a rooftop pool and nightclub. So much fun. It's in the Cromwell Hotel. I absolutely love that. They typically skew more of like a hip hop crowd, but they do, obviously for EDC week, have all kinds of DJs. I really love Excess. That one is absolutely beautiful. That's gonna be in the Wynn or the Encore. Those are over there. Surrender, Marquee is nice. Hakkasan, and then you have Omnia, which is beautiful, and that's inside Caesars, but it's always insane during EDC week. Get there early. I cannot stress that enough. And someone said, is EDC week worth it to attend? 100% yes. The parties are so much fun. They're always packed. There's so many people that you can meet there. The artists are all incredible, and it's just fun. It's fun to go to a pool party. Those are my favorite. And the nightclubs, like, make sure you are wearing the proper attire, because we've gotten kicked out of a line because one of my friends had the wrong kind of shoes on, so they take their dress codes very seriously. What are some good things to check out in Las Vegas before EDC? I have a whole video on other experiences in Vegas that you should check out, so I'll link that up here. But there's so many things. Each hotel kind of has its own theme and their own activities. If you want to go further off the strip, there's different like experiences. You could go hiking, you could go freaking jump out of a plane if you want to. You can go to the Hoover Dam, like you can go to Chippendales, like whatever you're feeling, whatever your vibe is, there's something for you. Do you have any experience with Camp EDC or opinions on it? I haven't done it. I'm not gonna lie, the first year they announced it, I was like not interested at all. And then seeing what they've done with it the last 2 years, now that's like what I wanna do, and it's sold out, of course. But again, based on my experience with transportation to and from EDC, that is the most alluring fact of it. The fact that you can just go in and out, that saves you so much time. You can go take a nap and go back to the festival if you want. Plus you're all staying in one place together, like you have the whole community around you, you've got the pool parties, there are artists that play extra sets at the campground, so it honestly sounds like such a good time. So people kept asking about what kind of shoes to wear, what comfortable shoes or boots do you recommend? In the past, I've done sneakers, I've done like slide-on Vans, I've done combat boots, which is typically what I lean towards. I always break in shoes before I go there. I never wear a new pair of shoes. I've never worn platforms. So many girls can do that and rock it. It's not for me. I recommend putting insoles in to give you a little bit of extra padding. I've never been to EDC, but I've been to eForest. The booths and vendors were phenomenal. Is there something similar in EDC, or is it mainly Insomniac merch? I found this helpful to figure out a spending budget. Yeah, no, so there's an entire vendor village inside EDC, like in the center, and there were tons of different shops, accessories, clothing, so it's not just Insomniac merch. Insomniac has like maybe 3 or 4 vendors, but there's tons of other companies that you can buy from as well. Love this question. I was watching some videos and the weather for 2019 was very unexpected. Yes, it was. In the future, will you be packing double outfits for the heat and cold, or to save space and weight, will you plan an outfit that will accommodate both? Okay, I can't predict the weather, but from what everyone has said, that was extremely bizarre weather for Vegas. So I think you can err on the side of it's gonna be hot, especially during the day. Like there was no question at the pool parties and during the day I was wearing summer clothing. It just at night got cold. I would bring a pashmina just in case. And if you can throw something in your bag that's either like a jacket or some sort of thing that you can layer over your outfit and take it off, then do that. But otherwise, I think you could plan as like a normal summer festival. And another tip that I've done in the past, I bring over the knee socks or tights. Those are super small and compact. I throw those in my bag and then I throw those over my leg at night when I'm walking out. So that's always been something that's been helpful. And last question, from your personal experience, what EDC customs or traditions do you think might change next year because of the pandemic? Honestly, it's so hard to imagine what could be different because of it. I really think it's gonna depend. So if anything, like maybe some health and safety concerns are gonna have to be addressed. So I would love if like the bathrooms were more sanitary, or there were more hand sanitizing stations, more people wearing masks. Who knows, maybe they'll have temperature checks before you go in. I'm really not sure. But as far as like the structures and the stages and the artists, I don't think anything is gonna be different about the experience. I'm very curious to see how Vegas recovers, because it's been so bizarre to see that city not have their nightclubs open or anything like that. I would hope that the Vegas nightlife scene and things like that can pick up and return to normal in time for EDC week. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of this video. I wanted to make this as helpful as possible and share any information and knowledge I have about this festival to help you guys feel more prepared. If you have any more questions, please feel free to leave them down below in the comments. I will continue to put out videos about EDC as we get closer to the festival, and I will let you know when I buy my tickets. But it would mean a lot to me if you guys could give this video a thumbs up, share this with your Rave fam, and of course consider subscribing to my channel. Definitely go binge watch the EDC playlist linked down below. And I got a shout out. My new merch line is coming very soon. I host a podcast every week called Rave Culture Cast. If you guys are EDM and music festival fans, definitely check this out. It comes out every Wednesday. And yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna be dropping my first merch line very soon, which I'm so excited about. So thank you guys for sticking around. I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.